weird because I have a harder time. I'm very nervous because I feel like
Do me a favor before you say that again. Would you just ask that question once more, Scott?
I forgot what the question
What
was.
do you
What do you want?
Or
What do
just
you-
repeat that. What am I looking for
What are
today?
you looking for in this experience today?
Is this the mic right here?
Yeah.
Just leave it. Do you want me to
Just
wear
leave
it?
it's fine.
Okay. I'm looking for answers because I feel like I know the answers already, but I feel sort of ambushed off my path. You know, with this Parkinson's, and it's like it's kicked me out of being human. I don't feel human, and I want to get back to feeling like I know what I'm doing. Because before I knew what I was doing, you know, I had a clear path, I had a clear vision, and now
What was that? What was your clear path? Your vision?
it was I was a writer, teacher. I had a good voice. I had a great sort of presence in the world. You know, it's like I felt very present. Now I don't feel present. I feel like I've just been scraped off into some abandoned parking lot, and I'm just wandering around, just riding a bike. Then
Sorry.
anyway, I don't mean to cry. It was
It's
like-
okay. It's okay. Just be yourself. Let it go. Feel what you feel. It's okay. I'm very comfortable with emotions.
Okay.
Being a water sign like
Hmm.
you. I'm a very emotional guy myself. It's a pretty, slap in the face. It's like a punch in the mouth. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like, here I am, I got this thing, and all of a sudden, sideswiped,
Yeah.
by a truck.
Right.
Messed you up. I'm very sorry. You have to go
Well,
through that.
I just feel like how could this happen? Like, is this a mistake, or is this something that was intended for me to face and go through? You know, who's what are my spirit guides thinking? Like, what are they saying that I'm gonna?
Who imposed this on you and why?
Yeah. And there's certain relationships in my life that I feel I need to know why they're so powerful. Why I give so much power to this person in my life, and why he's like so. He so controls my whole feeling about how I feel about myself and how I am in the world.
It's time to move and find your true spirit guide, or mentor, or teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And we call that person forth to be with you now. So 1, 2, 3. Be together now.
Mm-hmm.
So Coleman, Amanda, are you sensing a male or a female energy?
Male.
Yeah. Is this
It's just my muse. This person is my muse in life.
Is he projecting a human form or some other form to you?
Human form.
Okay. How would you describe him?
It's the perfect man. Male body. He's got curly dark hair. He's the other half of me. I never found him on Earth or in my life.
Alright.
It's something I yearned for my whole life.
Alright. And so this muse, what shall we call him? Ask him for a name.
David.
So I'm going to speak to David directly, and I want him to respond in your mind or through your voice. Is that okay with you?
Okay.
Is that okay with David?
Mm-hmm.
David, we thank you for being with us. What is your relationship to this soul here?
Just pure love. I have no history with her. No future. Just the present moment. I represent the present moment.
Are you on the same level as a soul as her, or on a different level?
Higher frequency.
If I ask you questions about her, will you be able to respond
Mhm.
about her life as a soul?
Mhm.
You have no history with her? No previous contact in any form?
On this plane, yes, many times.
On this plane many times what?
She reunites with me.
Okay. And what does that mean, she reunites with me?
We find each other. She comes back and I can sense that she's here.
Okay. I'm trying to understand your relationship to her. Are you a friend, a teacher,
I'm on her council committee or
Okay.
board.
So you're a higher frequency, like a council,
I never leave here. I stay here.
in the spiritual plane.
Mhm.
I understand. Okay. Would you call yourself a council member or a spirit guide, or how would you say in Michael Newton's parlance?
I'm a council member.
Okay. Would you like to bring her to the full council, or would you like to speak with us and address some questions?
I'd be happy to answer anything.
All right. Well, thank you very much. So, how do you feel about her performance in the lifetime as Amanda, David?
It was small, uncelebrated, insignificant. But she had a spark that led her to the next life, led her to here.
When you talk about a spark, can you describe that for me? What do you mean she had a spark?
She had contact with this plane briefly. She'd have little epiphanies here and there.
Okay. So what was the goal of the Amanda life? Why did she choose and live that life?
She wanted to experience love at its most basic level. Unconditional love.
And she had that with Walter?
Yes.
Okay. So she got to enjoy that experience, is that right?
Yes, but it was only in private. It was never public.
I see. So why were we today shown this Amanda life? What does Amanda have to do with the Coleman life?
Coleman is never to repeat that smallness again. Coleman is about the large gesture. Loud and bold. Even though we've given her a difficulty to face,
Yeah.
she has to push past it.
Okay.
Push through. Push past stereotypes and fears. The doctors will tell her she'll never do this, she'll never do that.
Yeah.
She will always do this, she will always do that. She has to fight.
So, David, we know Coleman in this current incarnation. She was Amanda in a previous incarnation. Stephen called her soul name Whispering Corn. Do you have another soul name? Her immortal identity? How can we refer to her as her soul energy? What do you call her?
Coleman?
Yeah. What do you call her soul?
Coleman.
That's going to be confusing because that's her current incarnation name. Can you give us another name to refer to her immortal spirit? This energy who has lived many lives?
Pure petal flutter.
If I call her pure petal, will you understand?
PPF, yeah.
PPF, okay. Alright. And so, now Coleman has some questions, and a lot have to do with this condition that she's been afflicted with. David, would you address these questions for us?
Yes.
She wants to know, am I on my path?
She's on her path in many ways. She's powered by boat, by car, by plane, by every earthly means. And she has spiritual resources she doesn't even know she has. She's not tapped into them yet.
How can she do that?
Fulfilling her heart with compassion for herself, mainly. Forgive herself for things that she's done in the past. She doesn't have to live in secret anymore. She can be out loud and bold, push past smallness. That's why we presented her with this challenge of getting small. Reminding her of Amanda.
For what reason?
So that she constantly break past the small.
Ah.
It's not going to be for long.
What's not going to be for long?
This condition.
Tell me more.
She has to push past it.
Okay. How can she push past the condition?
By tuning in spiritually and realizing who she is.
How can she tune in spiritually, David?
Start to celebrate herself. Start to appreciate small gestures that she makes. And see that they're not small at all, they're really large. And she's got a relationship to life now that's not censored. Not puffed up or pillowed by coyness or the right image. She's different, she's got to fight.
David, she told me she felt almost ashamed to be ill and to have this condition. What would you tell her about that?
I tell her she's working out the shame she felt as Amanda
Okay.
in Virginia. When Amanda and Walter moved to Virginia,
Yes.
they were shunned out of the community in France
Why is that?
because they were childless. And they made a comment about someone who had a lot of children.
So socially they became outcast?
Yeah,
And so
they
your
moved.
petal flutter is still hurt by this?
It's complicated.
That's okay.
It's never easy.
So David, tell Pure Petal Flutter how she can let go of that shame and move forward and celebrate herself.
Notice how fast you go and how quickly you come back here and get refreshed and go back. Willing you are to go back again. But you always choose lifetimes that are constricting. We've given you one that's potentially large. Only you can make it small. Let go of your smallness. Trust that you're really big. Don't hold back.
So, David, what is the purpose of her being afflicted by this condition of Parkinson's? Is there some higher purpose to that?
It's an illusion. Parkinson's is not a disease. It's an illusion. That's why it's so hard to diagnose. It's in the mind. It's in the body. The mind-body gets poisoned. But it's not real. It's just a conditioning. And the nervous system starts to deteriorate because it's expected to deteriorate. It's group thought. And we want Coleman Pure Petal Flower to fight against group thought.
Can this condition be arrested or reversed in Coleman?
Yes.
And how is that to be done?
She's got to look at this as a spiritual crisis, not as a physical crisis.
Okay.
And not be apologetic for what she does or what she says or how she moves in the world.
So what precipitated this illness with Coleman?
Secretiveness. She had an affair with someone who was very visible and just threw away her power.
Okay.
Gave it all away just because she's so gullible. Just the fact that she came and lived in a body called Charlotte and never missed a beat. To the world, Charlotte never missed a beat.
Yeah.
She lived falsely for half a life. Hidden. Called by someone else's name.
So David, you confirm that story that actually happened?
Yes.
It is possible for a soul to enter the body of another if the soul leaves.
Mm-hmm.
But isn't that body sort of calibrated for the soul who lived in it first?
It is, but there's special circumstances.
Tell us about the special circumstances in this case.
In this case, we took pity on Stephen in that lifetime. He was reforming. He meant well. It was an accident,
Okay.
and there had been violence in that household before, and people would have killed him if he'd been accused of. He wasn't ready to end his life.
And so you allowed Pure Petal to do that?
She owed him a favor.
So you deferred to her free will and their karma, so to speak, and let her do that?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
It was a mistake.
So what would you tell her about that now, Pure Petal? What does she need to understand about that?
You have to live in your own body. You can't just... I don't know.
What does Pure Petal need to understand, David, to wash that experience from her soul and to live now as Coleman, as a healthy person?
Stop truncating things. Own your power, own your speed, your charm, your wit. We've given you all these things to go back with, and don't disguise them with a disease. Let it go.
She feels or wonders, was this disease sort of inflicted on her from without? You seem to be saying, David, that it's almost as if she created this.
her guilt for being so secretive and living a lie for so half the life of a body.
Yes. For Charlotte.
And so confounded, so twisted. She just needs to let go.
Let go of
The smallness.
the hiding, the...
Living in secret.
Okay.
The living of less than who she is.
And she repeated this in this life. She had an affair with the same person.
Right.
Secret.
Secret.
It's like it repeated itself all over again in a smaller way.
Well, he was giving her all the power and open doors that she could need. She was also having to keep a really big secret.
So, David, how would you characterize this relationship between these two souls of Stephen and Pure Petal Flutter? What does Pure Petal need to understand about this relationship with Stephen?
The world will take your power. Don't let it.
What about this sort of karma between them? He says, you owed me, I saved your life, you owed me. And who owes who now? Is that, are they even? I mean, what's going on with these two?
I don't know.
I know you don't know, but David knows, and David can tell us about these two souls. Where do they stand? Who are they? What is their relationship as souls?
They sort of have a very meta relationship.
Describe that term.
Meta is a thing within a thing. They go against all the rules. I don't know, it's just so complicated.
Alright. So, Stephen, what would you advise Coleman regarding that fellow in this lifetime?
I don't understand your question.
Should she contact him? Should she stay away from him? I mean, is he good for her? Is he poison for her?
He's poison for her.
Alright. So she would be better off letting that go?
He's a
in this
test.
life?
Yeah, he's a test for her.
Describe the test, David.
The test is Stephen is all of the world in every way, and a success. And he emotionally seduces her. She needs to break the pattern. Never see him again.
What does she need to know or to understand so she can be free of him?
So she can stand on her own.
Thank you, David. We have many more questions for you. She says, am I on my path? Have I derailed? Has this illness derailed her? She
No.
feels like she got, hit by a truck and knocked off the track. What does she need to know about all this?
She was on the wrong track. We had to do something.
In what way was she on the wrong track?
Well, her life was getting so big that she couldn't handle it. So we needed to knock her down, just sort of stop her for a bit. She was identifying with the wrong things.
Can you explain that further? What was she identifying with that was wrong?
Oh. She couldn't get over her self-doubt. I don't know, I feel like I just sort of don't know why we decided these things. I don't know, I'm a very weak man.
You mean, is this David talking?
Yeah. I'm only powerful when I'm around her. She returns here.
You describe yourself as a council member. Is that right?
I am a council member,
Now, how can you be a weak man?
but I ran out of energy.
Can you connect with your other council members and draw upon their energy and their wisdom and compassion?
I don't know where to find them. I need to connect with Pure Petal.
Alright, then. Connect with her. So David, are you ready? Are you ready to continue addressing the questions?
Yes.
All right. She wants to know, can she use Parkinson's to fly and fulfill her purpose?
Yes.
How can she do that?
She's an artist, and she will continue to make art in spite of her affliction. She'll overcome it. She'll heal herself from this condition,
Okay.
and she will be an inspiration to others.
So tell us once more, how can she heal and overcome this condition?
She needs to pray,
Okay.
and she needs to take care of herself really well. Stop eating sugar.
Okay.
Stop eating junk.
Yes. What diet would you recommend? What sort of diet?
Fresh food. Food that has energy, life.
Okay.
She
I'm sorry, go ahead.
She needs to reconnect to the light, to everything that's light and everything that's good about her and strong about her.
How can she do that?
She needs to stop mourning and anticipating the loss of things, and stop thinking of herself as ruled out of having a relationship. She can certainly have a relationship. She's not going to wither up and die. She's alive, and she needs to celebrate the fact that she is alive. And stop feeding into the whole generation of it.
Very good. She says, am I doing all I can to control my Parkinson's disease?
No, she's not.
What else can she do?
She needs to be a much more vigilant fireman than that.
Okay.
She's got to be on a much more rigorous exercise regimen, and she's just got to be more of a warrior. She's very passive right now,
Yes.
and she thinks that she can eat donut holes and cup of coffee, and that's like enough for her to live on for the day. She's got to be much more nurturing to herself and much more self-aware, much more.
You described this condition as a spiritual crisis. She should look at it as a spiritual crisis. And you mentioned she should pray. What do you suggest along those lines?
She needs to connect to the divine. To hear. She loves hear so much.
Yes.
She comes back at the drop of a hat.
Yes.
And she leaves at the drop of a hat. She's very tempestuous. We don't know what she's going to do next.
Yes.
And she needs to stop being a loose cannon and commit to being on this side or that side. And just really commit to being there and learning what she needs to learn. And she's staged another death.
Explain that.
She's not fragile.
You mean by getting Parkinson's, she staged
Yeah.
a death?
She's raised worriness and awareness in her friends. They don't think she should drive, so she doesn't drive. She's being driven around. She's being. She needs to love herself more, so that others don't need to rush around and take care of her. She's very hard. She's a hard one. She's one of our harder cases up here.
What do you mean by that? A hard case? Stubborn? Willful?
Restless.
Restless?
She loves it here. Why doesn't she stay here?
Well, you tell me, David, why does she go down into incarnate?
She incarnated a dead woman's body, for God's sakes. Fully grown.
Okay. So why did she incarnate as Coleman this time around?
I don't know. She felt the love again. She felt the need for peace. She sensed that these families needed to be mended, and she could do it. Then she should have staged another death and gotten out of that lifetime quickly. But she didn't. She kept going, and she developed all these qualities for Coleman. One of them was moving through the world, as she loves to do. Pure petal flutter. It's like a social butterfly. She likes to touch people's lives and move on. She's like a waitress at a catering event. She can talk to this person and that person, but she doesn't have to commit to being in the conversation because she's waiting on the table. She's waiting on them.
So what would you counsel her about this?
Stay put. See the course. Stay the course. Don't stage your death constantly.
Thank you, David. And she wants to know, are you happy about my accomplishments so far?
Yes. Over the moon. She's my soulmate. She's my other half. I love her.
Okay. What has she accomplished in this lifetime?
She survived a crazy family. She succeeded in a field that she was told over and over again that she had no talent for and no business being in. She had the courage to step down and do some self-evaluation when she got ill, not to continue traveling to Europe all the time and being on panels and boards.
What else would you like to see her accomplish in this life?
I want her to feel the love that I feel for her. I want her to feel it on Earth. Since I can't come down, I want to choose someone for her that just she knows that human love, that pure, just not passion, not lust, but the feeling of well-being and nurturing and having a companion, a friend, someone to have a beer with at midnight if you can't sleep. I like someone to just be there.
Do you have someone in mind for her?
Yeah.
Does she know this person now?
She does, but she's very damaged.
He's very damaged?
Mm.
So what needs to happen to bring these two together?
She needs to just take each moment as it comes. Not get ahead of herself with it. She doesn't know. She needs to know more about it. I don't know. She sometimes tells me the wrong information. Or I see her. Oh, it's confusing. It's like can't tell what she's doing. Starting to fade again.
Alright, David. She wants to know, how do I reach Stephen again, soul-wise?
Leave him alone. Disappear. Get the message. He'll come running for you.
What if he does come running for her? How should she respond? David?
I'm hearing you. I'm just feeling like I don't know. I'm torn because he wants her to be in the world. So in the world that he says haunting things to her. Like, nobody wants you to be successful the way I do. And yet he does nothing to help her. He doesn't mention her in the press.
You said that he was a test for her.
He's like the devil. He's like a sweet-talking man with the peppermint cane.
Let me ask you this, David. Are they supposed to work together again?
No. Her work will surpass his.
Alright. So David, she has this question. Was I meant to get Parkinson's or was it a terrible accident?
We wanted to give her a test. A block. A reminder of the smallness. The pettiness, the narrow outlook.
Yes.
We wanted to remind her of her life as Charlotte. But in Amanda. Without bringing up the details of those lives.
So what is she supposed to get out of all this? What is she supposed to learn?
I'm really hungry. I'm hungry.
Okay.
Just get
Okay. David, if we take a break, will you come back and work with us?
absolutely.
All right.
Do you have any peanuts or something?
I want one of these, is there like a
Oh.
little bit of chocolate and a little
There's
bit
some nuts, some fruit,
Okay.
and I have maybe
Are you ready to resume our communications?
Yes.
And David, are you with us?
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready to resume our communications today?
Yes.
Excellent. Thank you so much. We have more questions to ask you. We thank you for your generosity of time and energy. We thank you for your presence here today. A very calming, positive presence. Now, Coleman wanted to know, what about children for her? The possibility of her having children in this life is Coleman?
Not her own.
Not to bear her own children, but perhaps to be a mother in some other way?
Be a mother of her own work.
I see.
Her creation is her work. She needs to be much more devoted to it.
So you would suggest she use her nurturing instincts toward her work?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And she also wants to know, does she keep refusing the right man for her?
The right type of man, yes. She just always chooses the wrong type.
What? I'm sorry, go ahead.
She chooses someone who's going to hurt her, and abandon her, and trick her. She likes that. Somehow.
Well, David, why does she choose that?
Makes me feel rejected because I feel what I've shown her up here is so pure and so intense and pure love.
Yes.
I don't know why she can't find it on the human sphere.
Well, David, look into her soul, the soul of pure petal flutter, and look at her history. And understand and share with us, why is she choosing men who treat her in a negative way? Why would she do that? What is the origin of this?
Her mother. She never felt like she was enough for her mother. She felt she always came up short. We had them working out karma.
Yes.
They had been reversed role in another life.
Right.
And mother needed to learn how to nurture. She just failed. It's not in her nature to be nurturing. She's not wired that way.
So Coleman has gotten this sort of imprint of being not enough or not coming up to par. Is that right?
So she chooses men that way out of her, not league, but that she only sets it up for failure.
Okay.
Because they're too of this world, or they're too belong to someone else, or they're not right for her.
So what would be the right type of man for Coleman now?
An available man. Someone who could feasibly spend time with her and love her. Come to love her. be her friend, her lover, her confidant. But I don't know, she imagines such a person so clearly that I don't know if it's possible to live up to her expectation. So my advice to her is stop living in expectation.
And yet, David, wouldn't you say that she could, kind of through the law of attraction, create a feeling of being with a man who was healthy, nurturing, loving, this kind of thing?
Yeah. But feel the feeling and don't expect the feeling. And learn to differentiate between, like right now she has her heart set on a neurosurgeon that it's fucked up because he's going to operate on her brain, and she tends to project these qualities onto men that he's like her mother. He's very judgmental and scientific.
Yes.
He's a scientist, and but she sees things in the symbolism of things. They share an island together. He spent his vacation on an island in the Bahamas.
Yes.
That she spent her summer on when she was 15.
Okay. And so she's saying, hey, that's a sign.
Yeah.
And David, you're saying...
Stop seeing such silly, shallow signs. That's not a sign, that's just a coincidence.
Are you saying this neurosurgeon is not the right type of man for her?
He has red flags already so pasted on him. She doesn't see those.
What would be the reddest flag?
That he's divorced and bitter.
Okay.
That he has 2 children, she doesn't even know if he has a girlfriend or not.
Okay.
He's
What's
not.
another red flag?
He's a workaholic. But then she saw, he said his mom wasn't doing too well, and he medevaced them over from New York to LA.
Mm-hmm.
She was very impressed by that.
Okay. Let me ask you this, David. Do you feel this operation is necessary or helpful, or how do you feel about this surgical intervention itself?
Well, I feel it's screaming towards it. You know, the time is closing in on her, and I feel like she needs to address the disease as being a spiritual crisis first.
Yes.
And really do all she can in that arena,
Uh-huh.
and put this off as long as she can. And yet the earlier you do it, the better it works, according to her doctors.
So what's your suggestion, David, from your perspective?
My ideas are outdated, I think, but I feel she has to attend to the body she chose.
Do you feel the surgery could be harmful in some way?
It could alter her speech. Everything about her that's special can be taken away by this disease.
Yes.
So, in a way, maybe it was too hard a challenge to give her.
So,
Maybe we should take it away. Think of something else. Something that can heal, like a broken leg or
yes.
a broken hip.
So how would you take it away if you decided to do that?
Just make her sick on the medicine. Just medicine make her sick,
Yeah.
and she'd go off of it. She'd be a medical miracle.
If she went off of the medicine on her own, or tapered down or something like that, do you think that would be beneficial? Or could that be dangerous?
It could be dangerous if you taper down yourself. You need to be observed.
Yes.
And yet all these things are, it's hard to differentiate between what's brainwashing material to what's really genuinely true.
It's a funny term, brainwashing,
Yeah.
because that's where it goes in, and that's what she needs.
Exactly. She needs a brain cleansing.
All right. Well, we'll let her think about this. And we mentioned her mother, and she wants to know, is her mother unraveling and heading back to the other side?
Yes.
Or what would you say about her mother, David? Her condition?
I would say she replaced her mother with her condition.
Hmm.
Her mother's in a condition right now that it should be the ultimate lesson for Coleman, because Coleman's problem was letting go of her mother, separating, becoming individuating.
Yes.
She had trouble with that because her childhood was so. She was her mother's puppet for so long, and then she started to rebel, and her mother pushed her away. And instead of letting go, she clung on. And now her mother's really let her go, because she has Parkinson's and she's the damaged bird in the nest.
So in what way is this the ultimate lesson for Coleman?
Her mother's the brutal letting go that her mother has performed. Coleman has to do the same thing. Fly away.
To disengage from the mother
Mm-hmm.
and be done with that?
She doesn't need to be in the nest. She doesn't need to be a baby bird anymore. She has wings. She can fly away.
Okay. Is there any care that Coleman can or should give to her mother as her mother sort of slides down?
Just accept her the way she is. Love her. Pamper her.
Thank you, David. What are some virtues Coleman should be developing?
She needs to be more organized. More sort of tuned into some systems that work for her. She doesn't have any systems in place. I must be a doppelganger of me or something. I'm in her life right now.
Tell me about that.
I'm her friend Paul.
Paul?
Paul, she met me online.
I see.
Not a friend of Paul's, and Coleman's introduced them.
Okay.
And they just started writing emails, and then Skyping, and then she moved to Ohio, and he was going to come visit her. And then she had a mental break,
Mm-hmm.
and he decided he couldn't pursue that relationship anymore because of the mental illness. He thought she was mentally ill.
I see.
She wasn't. She was just drug-induced craziness. And so they became really good friends in LA, and he's someone who's sent to her to guide her, like, towards systems and girlfriend's a Virgo. He has a girlfriend now.
So they know how to organize things?
She's a Virgo. She organizes. She's all about organization and work.
Okay, so regarding Coleman and becoming more organized,
Mm-hmm.
what do we need to know? How can she do that?
Well, first she has to gotta get rid of herself of Parkinson's because it's making her brain foggy, and she stares at things like a scared rabbit. She's like a deer caught in the headlights with piles of paper, and she just doesn't know what to do with them. That's part of Parkinson's, is making you feel kind of loosey-goosey and not yourself.
I see. So how can she ground a little better?
Breathe, exercise, stop eating sugar.
Okay. Thank you, David. I guess you've sort of just answered maybe this, but what are some vices she should be letting go of?
Sugar.
Sugar.
And not flossing. It's like this is self-doubt,
Yeah.
negativity towards her abilities. She's so talented. She's so she's capable.
Uh-huh.
She just doesn't know it or believe it herself.
Okay.
She's her own worst enemy. Black hat. She needs to stop wearing the black hat
And why is that?
because it just doesn't fit her anymore.
Okay. So, David, should she have deep brain stimulation surgery?
It's such a body issue. It's such a body problem. Body dilemma. They say it'll give her life back. I say it's never been taken from her. She should do what she feels.
She should do what she feels.
She can afford. She can do. If she feels. Oh, it's so hard. It's so hard because all the people on the outside are telling her to.
What are they telling
Her neurologist and her neurosurgeon are saying yes, 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 yes. Her integrative medicine doctor and some other cutting-edge neurosurgeons are saying no, 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 no. You can do it through glutathione drips and other means of non-invasive means. I don't know, I feel like I'm talking. This is very small talk to me. It's small talk, small thinking, small talking.
This is very important for her later.
But I'm not dressed, I'm just sort of.
If this is small talk, what's the big picture that she needs to understand?
She is perfect as she is. And she needs to not stop trying to fix things. Trying to live with stopping time, or like the way things used to be. Nothing's the same. Everything moves. It's like very change. It changes all the time. And she has to realize that she can't be 23 anymore. She can't be 30. she's 52,
Mhm.
and she's got so much to give and so much to learn and so much to experience. So she's got a challenge, rise to the challenge.
Thank you, David. So let's talk about this fellow, Mark.
Mm-hmm.
Is he a kindred spirit on the path? A soulmate?
Well, I don't know, I just feel she reads more into something than she should.
Like the Bahamas thing?
Like the Bahamas thing, and the fact that he told her his parents were sick and being moved from New York to LA, and she dreams things up, but I don't know, she needs to be realistic about that. It remains to be seen.
Okay. So, she wants to know on the same lines, are we going to fall in love and be life partners?
Makes me jealous, because I feel such a connection with her.
Yes.
And when she returns here after being Coleman, I want her to have experienced a human version of this, of what we have.
Yeah.
And I feel that it will change her.
How can it change her?
I don't know if she'll fit with me anymore.
David? Well, we have a few more questions, and then there's the questions I want to ask you, but I'll defer that. So, do you feel there will be a life partner for her? You said you kind of had you were planning maybe to connect her with someone. Is that right?
Yeah, she will have a life partner.
Oh. So, David, what does she need to focus on in her life?
Self-love. Yeah, self-love.
What does that mean in a practical application? I mean, a practical way. I mean, how do you practice self-love?
You don't doubt yourself every second of the day.
Mm-hmm.
You keep things to yourself. You develop relationships with other people by asking about them and what's going on in their lives, and giving yourself to people, and not being so ashamed all the time. Not being so full of self-deflecting, not wanting to crawl into a hole.
So what's all this shame? What is this shame coming from?
Weakness. Temptation.
You mean like she took some action that now she's ashamed of?
Yeah. Boundaries.
Alright, so what does she need to understand to be able to let go of the shame and to have self-love?
She needs to understand that if she says no, or what are you doing? What did you just say? Ouch. That her life won't end. that the traffic won't stop.
In other words, to have self-respect and to have boundaries.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything she needs to focus on that she hasn't thought of? Something that she's missing?
Be careful with her money. She throws away money too easily. She dreams of all these situations that could endanger her being there. You know, just an excuse to leave and come back here. We don't want to see her for a while.
Dangerous things.
Yeah.
Taking risks.
Yeah.
In life.
Not really. Well. Yeah.
That would lead to an early return.
Right. So
she needs to be a little more careful with her money and with herself.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. So maybe to sort of wrap this up about the Parkinson's disease, David, she wants to know, do I really have Parkinson's disease?
No, she doesn't.
What does she have?
She has an impaired nervous system because she was extremely malnourished during a high stress time in her life, and she developed neurological symptoms that mimicked Parkinson's.
Okay. Now, is that reversible?
Yes, if she commits to being there and commits to just loving people that she's there in her life.
When you say commits to being there, what is that? To being on the earth?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so now you know the doctors and all that are going to say she has Parkinson's, she needs this and that treatment.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to want to use technology and drugs and all that. I mean, is that what's best for her? Or is there a better way to alleviate and reverse these nervous symptoms?
Well, her doctor, her integrative medicine doctor, has her on all these supplements and vitamins that are supposed to sort of override the medicine she's on now for Parkinson's, to diminish symptoms like like she's riding with her leg on 2 trains, and eventually she's going to go over to the one. But for now, she's playing both systems.
Right.
She needs to go off medicine as soon as she can. Just ruining her life.
You said the pharmaceuticals, but
Yeah.
stay on the supplements.
Yeah.
Nutritive supplements.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you, David. And in connected with that, she wants to know, and we really need to know. I mean, and this session really boils down to what lesson is she meant to face with this challenge of this condition?
Mm-hmm. Self-love. Bring that up again, but self-acceptance. Transformation through adversity.
Transformation through adversity. Going through this challenge. Going through this challenge, she will grow and transform and this sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. So David, What would you like to share with Coleman in this session today? What advice or guidance do you have for her?
Just enjoy the ride, Coleman. It's a really glorious ride we have planned for you. And just, you make it so hard. Don't make it hard. Just laugh and love and eat really good food and have a good time. Let go of everything that's not that.
Thank you, David. Now, I'm a little confused about your identity and your relationship with Coleman, or with Pure Petal, as we call her.
Which one are you talking about?
I'm talking to David.
Hmm.
I'm confused because sometimes you said you said you're a council member, and then you say you're like a soulmate. So I'm trying to understand. What is your connection to this soul of Pure Petal? Are you a peer with her? Are you on the same, level? Are you on a higher level? Are you a teacher, a mentor?
We were friends when I was picked to be on a higher frequency,
Okay.
and she wasn't picked.
So you were peers at a time?
Mm-hmm.
You've moved up?
We were sort of young. We had a crush on each other in high school, and like an early stage of our.
I understand.
Yeah.
Okay. So you started off as peers, but you progressed faster. Is that
Yeah.
fair to say? Okay. But you still have a bond with her.
Very big.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now you said soulmate. Are you her primary soulmate?
On this plane, yes.
This plane, you're referring to the spirit plane?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So does that mean you're connected with her as, romantic soulmate partners? For example, have you lived lifetimes together?
No.
You haven't incarnated together?
No. We met up here.
Have you incarnated on Earth together?
No.
Okay. And yet you have some sort of a bond. Is that right?
We had a bond early on, and then we were separated, but we found each other again.
I see. All right. So David,
And I can, increase her frequency. The longer she stays connected to me, the more likely she is to become more evolved.
okay. Can you do that right now?
Yeah.
Can you connect with her and increase her frequency?
Mm-hmm. I always do.
All right. Now she wants to know what her dad is doing and if she can visit with him. Can you help us arrange that, David?
Yeah.
We're calling her dad forward into this conference. We ask him to come forward and talk with Pure Petal. So Pure Petal, are you aware of anything?
He's very bright looking and very happy.
How would you describe his appearance?
Robust, happy,
Yeah.
bright light, bright, really bright.
Is he projecting a human form or just a light? Or both?
He has both.
Okay.
He has an apron on,
Oh.
and he's been attending the sick.
Oh, I see. You working as a healer?
Yeah. Either that or like butchering meat.
Well, let's ask him which.
Okay.
Which has he been doing? What has he been doing since he crossed over?
He's been healing the sick.
Yeah. And how does he heal the sick?
He visits them in the hospitals down on Earth
So,
as a spirit.
as a soul, he visits sick humans?
Mm-hmm.
And so what does he do when he visits them?
He reassures them, nurtures them, comforts them.
How do they perceive him?
As a ghost.
Like a ghost or a spirit?
Mm-hmm.
Angel or something like that?
Yeah.
Okay. Does he enjoy that work?
Yeah, he does.
So, we invite Coleman's father to communicate with her in her mind right now. What is it that you wish to, or even through her voice, what is it you wish to communicate to her? What would you tell her today?
He wants to sing. Oh, holy night, the stars are brightly shining. It is the night of our dear Saviour's birth. Long lay the world in sin and never pining, till he appeared and the soul knew its worth. A thrill of hope, da 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 da, new and glorious born. Fall on your knees, oh hear the angel voices, oh night divine, oh night when Christ was born, oh night divine, oh night when Christ was born. That's his message to me. That was always his message to me. I was so mean to him. I just want to say I'm sorry.
I'm gonna stay quiet for a few moments, and I want you to spend time together. Spend as long as you need. And just let me know when you're ready to move on.
Okay. Mm. He loves me. I love him.
Do you feel more complete that you had a chance to visit with him?
Mm-hmm.
He can stay present during the rest of this time experience. So, David, Coleman also wanted to visit with her soul group. Can we do that just maybe briefly today?
Okay.
So I'll simply count to 3 and you can be there. And 1, 2, 3.
It's like a surprise party. They're all around this table, and this room is all decorated, and they knew I was just gonna come up and see them.
Oh.
So this is a surprise.
So what are you hearing in your mind? What are they?
They're just happy to see me, and just really. They're so sloppy. They're sloppy people. they're very touchy feely, but they're very loving and kind of nerdy, and just love them. I just feels like myself with them.
About how many of them are there?
15. Yeah. And
So, are they... Oh, go ahead.
they just love me so much. I love them.
Yeah. Would you like to have a nice group hug with all of them?
No, just too corny. We'll
How
do.
about just to connect on some level with all of them?
Yeah, I do. We have this ritual where I stand in the middle of the room,
Okay.
and they surround me with a circle,
Let's do this.
and it closes in on me.
Yeah.
Kind of like a group hug.
What does that feel like?
Feels so good. Feels like I just know everything's gonna be fine. Things are gonna work out.
There's a lot of encouragement.
Mm-hmm.
Are there a few, or maybe a few of them that are sort of your inner circle that you feel really close to? Maybe let's focus on them.
Closer to?
Yeah. I understand they're all your group.
Yeah, Leo I feel really close to.
Okay.
And look around the room.
So, tell me about Leo. Is he there?
Mm-hmm.
So what is he communicating to you?
He's just like pure. He's that companionship that I should have known by now, but haven't,
Okay.
because he died.
Pure companionship?
Yeah,
Okay.
just
This,
but sexual, but also not only that. You know, it's just very. It was like we had a thing of like we shop together, we go to festivals together, and
kind of like buddies?
we were buddies.
So, does Leo have anything to share with you now in your current life as Coleman? Any advice?
Oh, the same advice he gave me when he was living. I can hear him say it now. If you want to act, act. If you want to write, write. Stop talking about it.
What does he call you in spirit?
Sweetheart.
What name does he?
Sweetheart. Beautiful. He calls me beautiful.
Is there another soul who wishes to come forward and share with you at this time?
Well, some of them are already down here living. So there's a rare Mammy. My Mammy wants to say something. To my
Say
dad.
the name again?
Mammy,
Okay.
my dad's mother.
What does she want to say?
She wants to say everything you do is perfect. And you can do no wrong. I'm so proud of you. You have a unique mind. Nothing is compromised. Everything's going to be okay. Then she hugs me.
So, what does that feel like? She hugs you.
It's like some impending doom. Like it's good. Nothing's good. Nothing's going to work out. Everything's going to be fucked up.
She just told you everything you do is perfect.
I know, but I don't believe her. I feel
You think she's just
she's preparing me for
BSing you?
she's preparing me for a hard life to come.
You mean as Coleman?
Mm-hmm.
Do you consider that her words to you might be true? Everything you do is perfect. There are no real mistakes. Are you willing to consider that?
Yeah.
So, okay. So, what about the impending doom? I don't understand. You feel like she's buttering you up because you get
yeah, she's, I'm
dumped in the toilet?
gonna be left in open water
Okay.
for the sharks to come get me.
Are there any other souls who wish to come forward and talk with Coleman?
Liz, my friend Liz Kennedy.
Okay. So what does Liz communicate to you?
Same thing. She says we're gonna have fun, and we're gonna have a great life together.
And if we could bring Liz into the present, what advice does she have for your current life as Coleman, and what you're going through?
She says you'll wriggle out of it. I know you will. I know you. Now she's lost hope. She's not going to hear from her anymore. I should call her.
Okay. So who in this 15 are in Coleman's life today? We know Leo was, we know Mammy was, we know Liz. Who else is in Coleman's life today?
All of us.
All of them?
Yeah.
Okay. All right then.
I don't like Coleman. I have never liked her. She's a self-centered bitch.
Who's talking?
Diane Robinson.
Okay.
I think she's just so full of shit. She has nothing to offer that's new or original. She's an opportunist. She slept her way to the top. And she's like, she's a cunt. I can't stand her.
Okay. And so, what is the purpose of your sharing this with us?
Because everyone's this Coleman fest. Everyone loves Coleman. Oh, Coleman's so great. Coleman does this. Coleman does that.
Well, it's Coleman's surprise party.
Well, I'm the party pooper. I just came.
So what is your purpose in being here?
To cast a dark shadow. Tell her the truth. The truth is your life is going to suck. It's Coleman. So just get used to that. Get used to the parts that are going to be really hard and dark and bitter and disgusting.
And so, Diane, it's as if you're speaking before Coleman was born, but Coleman is now 52, and what do you have to say to her now?
You're lucky. You're lucky. You're just lucky. You live a charmed life. You said you did something. You did something. You tricked us. You did something sneaky. What did you got away with murder? You just got away with it. You just wait. You'll get caught. You'll get your lesson soon enough.
I like you, Diane. You're an interesting soul.
I'm probably not this negative usually, but I hate her. She's a fucking bitch. She's just so mealy mouthed and wishy washy, and she's so unconscious, and she took all my boyfriends away from me. I just can't stand her. She's just like such a flirt. She's like such a coy. Oh, I don't know what you mean by that kind of person. She's so fakey fake. I can't stand it.
All right, Diane. How do you really feel?
Everything's not going to be all right. I'll tell you that right now, Coleman. Everything's not going to be all right. Your mother's going to get Alzheimer's disease. She has it already, if she doesn't know it. You're going to end up on welfare and lose more teeth. People are going to think you're a meth dealer. You're on meth. You get put in jail a lot. Just the things that happen to you now briefly are just going to happen more and more in more prolonged versions. Your life is going to be very bleak. And you never know, you're not going to have a life partner. I'll tell you that right now. These people are lying to you.
Tell us more.
It'll be in your
Very
mind.
entertaining.
It'll be in your mind. You have a life partner in your mind. You are in your mind. You live in your head. You just dream this whole dream thing. and do things that are stupid. God. Don't get collision insurance? That's ridiculous. Of course your car is going to become a battle axe and be worth nothing. $400 was a lot to get for that shit box you drove around. You should be really embarrassed by the way you live your life. It's very unorganized and very chaotic and irresponsible. Your father's right. He was right. You live it just doesn't add up. I gotta...
Doesn't add up.
I don't have choices. I'm bored with this already. So, I gotta smash some cake in her face and then I'll leave.
So Diane, you're sort of the shining star of this soul group, huh? You're the little happy face of this soul group.
Oh, they love me.
Why is that? What do they love about you?
They tolerate me.
What's your role in this soul group, Diane?
Get Coleman in her place. She has a tendency to go flying off into the universe and like, she thinks she can fly. She thinks she can perform magic miracles. Bullshit. She's just a fucking out of work writer who's like came in through the back door, had 15 minutes of fame, and then she's a hack. She's the personification of a hack. And I just really resent these surprise parties and...
You do?
Yeah, they're stupid.
Yeah. Oh.
I'm not into surprise parties.
Tell me about yourself, Diane. If this is what you tell me about Coleman, how do you analyze your own self? How would you describe yourself?
I'm highly intellectual. And I put up with bullshit. I'm a no-nonsense person. I've had the same man in my life since I was 10. He's been true to me, faithful, we're married, we're happy.
How dull.
I'm not dull. I can talk anyone under the table.
You don't sound like you're having very many interesting experiences.
Coleman instant messaged me the other day. Your students must love you. Fuck that. Her students love her. My students don't love me. I love my students though, but they don't love me.
So Diane, compare your challenges in your life to Coleman's. And tell me who is achieving the most growth.
Little Miss Goody Two Shoes. Pathetic Coleman. Poor pathetic Coleman's learning all these lessons. They're lost on her. I guess she's okay. She's okay.
Alright. Pure Petal, is there a guide or an overseer for this group? Is there someone who sort of mentors your group or guides this?
No, they're unsupervised. So
Again?
they're unsupervised.
Okay.
So they get so rowdy and out of control.
Alright. So tell me about this group. If I was a visitor to your group, what impression would I take away about this group?
We have fun. We have outings. We do things like we have our meetings like not inside. You know, like everybody has to have a room 4C or 3B or 5F. Those are the conference rooms available. We take our meetings out like with picnics. We go fishing. We go to the top of the Eiffel Tower. We go to Sydney, Australia, and sit on the waterfront and just dangle our toes in the water.
They're kind of adventurous.
Yeah.
Okay.
We just don't. We're just not really organized.
So what's the common denominator of this group? What brings you all together? What binds you together?
Well, we all live by our wits. We choose lifetimes that honor that.
Do you all aspire to the same specialty, or are there different types in this group? In other words, is this a group of artists or healers or explorers or adventurers, or is it just a big mix?
It's a big mix.
Okay.
Coleman's mom tends to take over sometimes. She's a spirit to be reckoned with.
Yeah. Takes over in what way?
Tries to create some order and some sort of,
With the group?
yeah,
I see.
she's bossy.
She doesn't get very far? Everyone's kind of a free spirit?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright then. So is there anything else you'd like to experience in this group here before we move on?
No.
Okay.
Bye, everybody.
The group can follow along with this as well. If they
Okay.
wish.
Some of them want to.
Yep, some of them do.
Mhm.
Let me ask the group, as kind of a group, what advice would you have for Coleman in her current stage, in her current life?
Just have fun. You start laughing. You stop laughing so much. Ever since you found out about Parkinson's, you're sort of a Debbie Downer. You're like really talk a lot about your illness and your symptoms, and just laugh. Just think it's funny and kind of move on with things. Plan a picnic. Plan a fishing outing. Do something that's out of your comfort zone. Swim. Do a triathlon.
Great. Alright. So David, are you still with us?
Mm-hmm.
Alright. So, Coleman asked a couple more things. She wants to go to the Library of Souls, or to the...
That's closed today. We have no access to it on Wednesdays.
What about the Council of Elders, or the Place of Life Selection, to find out why she chose to be Coleman?
That's open, yeah.
Okay.
That's nearby here, too.
Well, let's go to that Place of Life Selection.
Okay.
Let's be there now. And let's go back in time to this conference when Coleman, Pure Petal, is planning this life as Coleman. Who's there? Where are you? What's happening?
It's one of those crazy outings where we've decided to go to a singles bar.
Okay.
And it's in Chicago. And, like, we're all just sort of sitting around trying to decide what we should do, what table we should be at.
Who's there?
Everybody, Diane's not here, thank God. But everybody's there.
Okay, you mean everybody in your soul group?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We're all taking a break together this time because we decided we'd have a reunion.
Okay. So no one's incarnate?
Well, Diane is.
Oh, okay. So there's about 14 or so.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so you're in this singles bar environment, having this sort of a party.
Yeah, we're sort of partying and or looking at partiers, just sort of admiring them, wondering. It's like we're sort of looking at people like we're very discerning. You know, like we look at their expressions and their body language, and it's interesting. And then I see something that is very curious to me. This woman who is very vivacious storyteller who's telling a story to a group of people. And she I just feel like I'm her. I could do that. I could be that. So I don't know how it works, but I hear about this later. I hear about this couple that just got married and eloped, his family doesn't like her family doesn't like him. Classic Romeo and Juliet shit. So I'm attracted to it, and I follow them on this honeymoon. Their honeymoon, and they're just so passionate with each other. I just decide spontaneously just to enter that life. Just to go, just do it. And then she's pregnant like the next day.
So are you telling me there's no planning, there's no looking at Coleman's life, there's no looking at the possibilities of the life, there's no looking at what lessons are to be learned, just totally spontaneous?
Mm-hmm.
There's no guidance of any kind. Is that what you're telling me? Is there any time when you're having a conference with someone or talking?
Oh, David advised me.
Okay.
He said, go down to this woman's life, and she overcomes adversity and in unusual ways. I thought that sounded interesting.
Okay. Well, let me ask David some questions. David, are you available?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So why do you suggest this Coleman life for Pure Petal?
In Pure Petal's last life, she just got a short shrift. She sort of, the last couple of lifetimes, she just felt very small and very tight, and secretive, and very covert. And
so this is an opportunity to...
This was an opportunity to be expansive, to be born into a family that adored her, to bring peace to two families that are warring, to grow up in the South, manners and, finishing school sort of effects. And I knew she'd be a good momentum. She'd go to boarding school, she'd go to the right college, she'd be in the world, she'd be toast to town, she sort of made the progression pretty quickly, and we were amazed by how quickly she was progressing. And then things got too big, and we had to bring her back. So that's why she's there.
So what was the main lesson or challenge or experience of this Coleman lifetime?
We wanted to give her a glove big enough that she could feel it. And when she filled it so quickly, we had to shrink that glove. And it reminded her of her other two lifetimes where she was small and did the small gesture and did the small thing and lived out of fear. And it was supposed to send such panic through her and such incredible rage, and that she would stand up and push past it and fight. So far she hasn't.
What was supposed to create this rage and all that?
Parkinson's. Because Parkinson's makes you very small and very tight.
Parkinson's that isn't really Parkinson's.
Right.
Is that right?
We want to send her some symptoms to scare her.
Okay. Alright. So, this is what I don't understand. You wanted to give her a big stage or a big glove or something like that. But then you say it got too big. How can it get too big? I mean, so she becomes successful and she lives a big life. Isn't that what you wanted? What do you mean too big?
Yeah, I don't know. Someone got jealous. Something happened. Something went awry. Something went very awry.
Okay.
I think
What was that?
it was putting Stephen back in her life. Was sort of a problem.
Yeah.
Created some tension
Yeah.
and some conflict.
Mhm.
I'm not good at this. I'm not good at articulating why we did something. We just did it. We just act upon impulse up here.
There's no thought. There's no planning?
Not in our group. It's a very particular group. We have no systems in our group.
Alright then. By the way, David, I'm curious about, David, you know about Michael Newton classifies souls with colors and levels and this kind of thing?
Hmm.
Tell us about Pure Petal. What color is her soul?
Periwinkle gray. Sort of a pure gray, misty, with a hint of pink and lavender, like a periwinkle.
So what does that color signify?
Purity, openness, sensuality, spontaneity. Yeah.
Alright, David and Pure Petal, so is there anything else we need to learn about the selection of this Coleman life and why she's living it?
She knows.
Go ahead and verbalize that for us.
Mm-hmm. Can you ask the question again?
Is there anything else we need to understand about the choice of this life as Coleman? About Pure Petal's choice of being Coleman, living the Coleman life? Anything else we need to understand about that?
Pure Petal had lived through a lot of violent lives, and she had witnessed a lot of violence. She and he, and it wanted in the next lifetime to be just sheltered and curious, but not exposed. So she chose Coleman's life because she felt like she could experiment with living large, but not too exposed and too... It's funny. It's really funny. It's funny. She had a stalker. She had a stalker around the time she got Parkinson's. She was diagnosed with Parkinson's. And she felt like for the first time in her life, she was on Google, like 3,000, 4,000, 13,000 pages on her in the movie that she made. And she felt like her life was not her own anymore, and she panicked. She got paranoid. She changed her number. She had it unlisted, but still the guy would find her and terrorize her. And that's why she Pink Pearl, what is the name? Flutter.
Pure Petal.
Pure Petal, Flutter, chose Coleman's life because there was no violence in it. But as soon as violence started to threaten it, it changed shape.
Are you saying the stalker is connected to the nervous system problems?
Could be. I'm thinking it could be. It was a stressful time for her doing Bubble. She made Bubble. It was like she was on set for 5 weeks, and she was dismissed by Steven and his friend Greg, and just left out a lot of things that they did, and she was humiliated. Like, just felt like she was really a weird feeling. It was like I was in one room, and we all had our own rooms, and I get summoned down to the director's room, and with the producer, and we'd watch dailies and just sort of talk about stuff. But my opinion was the last one they wanted. And they were getting all the credit for everything, and it was just such an odd time. It was like very, and then I lived in New York, and there was a question whether I was going to get to go to the New York Film Festival. Just stuff. Just really kind of disrespectful stuff. And that's
So how did this affect her?
it negatively. I noticed her temper got more shorter, and I don't know, just clues. Maybe that stalker had something to do with it. But anyway, she was never meant to be exposed to violence or a seizure side of life. But when she descended, she got put in jail for 12 hours, and she got put in a mental institution for a week. She got exposed to some heavy, dark shit. Some very dark. So we don't know if everything's going to be all right.
All right. So, Pure Petal, is there anything else you want to experience while we have this sort of your foot in the spirit world?
I want to hear some sounds. I want to hear some things.
Okay. So be there and hear those sounds.
It's like this elephant roaring off in the distance, like this low bellow. Another thing about jail is like, you get put in jail, you hear this. There's all these people screaming and sort of moaning, and it's really disconcerting. It's like very, like they're being tortured, and you're next. But this is a joyful sound, kind of like a release. And there's like, it's like a cliche, but it's like this sort of tinkling bells and toy piano sound.
I wonder if there's a place where you could take like a healing sound bath, or you could go to a chamber and be just surrounded by sound vibrations. Very healing, very beautiful. Can I do that?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think I know where to go.
You know where to go? Okay, good. So go there and be there and do that.
Okay.
And just relax there. We'll stop talking. We'll stop the words. How does that make you feel?
Really good. I could come back here and rejuvenate.
That's exactly right.
Mm.
So etch this place in your mind.
I am going to. It's got light and sound. It's brilliant.
Etch this in your mind so you can come back and whenever you please.
I'll put it in my
All you have to do is think of it.
bookmark bar.
And you can still experience that while I talk to David just a little bit more. David, I want to ask you, why was Coleman brought to this session today? What does she really need to get out of this experience?
Well, she's very vain. She wanted some footage of her on camera session for her film. And she really took it to heart, this whole thing. 'Cause she had a nightmare last night about the whole thing. And her spirit guides, she didn't think they wanted her to come. But now that she came, we're glad she came. And, you know, it's taking on a human voice is so hokey. It's not my voice is my body and my curl and my embrace and my connection. I'm not a good talker, I'm not good with words. Human sound.
You've done fine. I'm very happy for your help today. Again, I'll ask you, why was Pure Petal brought to this experience today? What does she really need to gain?
She knows this shit. She has everything she needs. And she just needs to go forward and deal with things. She just needs to go forward and just be brave. And if she dies in the meantime, she's coming back here. She's golden. She's like, she can't lose. So, we're rooting for you. But don't come back here too soon. Because you're not supposed to yet. She's meant to live a long, happy life, full of human pleasures, and she will be she's just recently turned human. In fact, when she was diagnosed, that's the day she became human. Before that, she was a flighty bitch, and an actress sort of who thought she was a big shot. So, welcome to the human world, Coleman, and good luck. And we're waiting up here to rejuvenate you at the end.
Thank you, David. So, Coleman, is there anything else you want to experience? Do you feel complete?
I feel a little exhausted. I'm ready to come back.
So just take one last look around, see if there's anything you might have missed, any final insights, visions, messages.
Such a big fish up here. Fish. They're like jump out, they just emerge from space.
What's this?
There's these fish that keep appearing.
Okay. What's the meaning of that?
I don't know. Fish, I'm Pisces, but...
David? David, what about the fish?
The fish are just perfect. They're to remind you that you're in a different place. Different sort of place. Okay.
Alright then. So take a deep breath, my friend, and let all of this settle calmly within you. We've had quite an adventure today.
Yeah.
So let us thank those who have helped us, David, your father,
Diane,
all those who have shared with us.
Amanda,
yes. And you might take that Amanda part of yourself and put her into your heart there.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of melt together into one person.
Mm-hmm.
Even your pure petal self, all coming together, all these different parts of you melting together into one person who is living as Coleman now.
Mm-hmm.
One person who is living as Coleman. I'm simply going to count to 5. And on number 5, you can open your eyes and be back in the here and now. So number 1, Coming on back to the here and now. With love and gratitude to those who have helped us today. Thank you all. Number 2. Coming on back down into the Coleman body now. That was then. This is now. Number 3, coming on back. Back into the here and now. Number 4, back into the body, gracefully now, gently. And when you're ready, number 5. Number 5, eyes open now. Back in the here and now.
That was fun. That was like a wild ride. That was really fun.